Hello, welcome back to Daily Brief Reaction. Today, no be small thing. It was almost gbas between Daniel Bwala and Seun. In fact, Bwala came prepared today. He said he has had enough of the Nigerian media. So, from the beginning of the interview, in fact, he started being hostile from the beginning. Waiting for the word that will come up from the Shewin's interview. He was ready for it anyway, the way I see it. And he started the fight right from the beginning of the interview, you know. So, but let's see how it goes. Let's see how it worked out. And, trust Seun now. Seun also giving back, and Bola was actually ready for today's interview. Let's watch and see how it all played out.
Now being joined to take a look at the implication and what this means, whether or not these some tacit endorsement from President Donald Trump, what this means for Nigeria and his security effort. I'm being joined by the special advisor to the president on policy communications, Mr. Daniel Bwala, who is live for us here, live in Abuja studio. Mr. Bwala, it's a pleasure having you join us on the program tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'm curious though, this letter, when was this letter written?
Have you seen the statement?
Yes.
We work with the statement.
Okay. It does look like this letter came in on the 6th of July.
Oh, really?
That's what it tells us.
Okay.
Why are we just knowing now?
I don't have an answer for that.
Really?
Is the content of the letter false?
No, I'm asking because we need to look at all of the ramifications about the communication between the two presidents as being communicated by your office.
We were looking at the content of the letter, whether it is false or not.
Because one is curious. It comes 2 days after a lobbyist who is working for Mr. Atiku Abubakar talked about a 60-page DOJ files on alleged heroin case in the United States against President Bola Tinubu.
That is a voyage of a jobless thinkers, project. So has the lobbyist also come up with any finding about the Halliburton case against Atiku Abubakar? Why is this issue always coming around election optics? People don't want to focus on what matters. They just bring this joblessness. There are issues that the opposition in Nigeria ought to, if they respect the Nigerian people, come with, which is that if they disagree with any policy of government, by now they ought to have been communicating to Nigerians what they hope to do differently from what we're doing. I mean, every year, every time, coming up with this jobless kind of thing. Sometimes if we even react to it, it's like we're promoting it. Because, of course, as a journalist, you know there is Halliburton case. What have they said about that?
So the curiosity comes 17 days after this letter was transmitted from Washington to Abuja. It's just coming to light now. And perhaps it does look like a spin work.
Let me ask you a question.
Your office is just getting, is it laziness, tardiness, or you're just keeping these and you're using it for some kind of work?
No. What I'm saying is, you rightly said it's a lobbyist for Atiku. Ordinarily, there shouldn't be any conversation.
No, I'm saying the curiosity is the fact that the letter was written from Washington, dispatched on the 6th, or dated 6th of July. 17 days later, that's when Nigerian people are able to know that Trump, and it's been made to look like the letter was written just tonight.
So what I'm saying is, you see, when we go to school, there is this thing they talk about facts in issue. You have to always concentrate on the essentials in order not to be distracted. That's why people fail exams, when they don't focus on the essential. What is the fact in issue right now, as has gone round? The fact that President Trump has, written a letter to President Bola Tinubu.
So
the question would be, is it true or is it not?
The interview is about the content of the letter and what this means for the average Nigerian people. But we need to look at the credibility of the letter and the circumstance surrounding the letter. And I'm asking you, you speak for the president, And is this one of the spin job of the presidency communication strategy team that you have to delay the letter for 17 days? And the curiosity is that 2 days ago, there is a communication from Washington that congressional committees are now looking at a 60-page document, allegations of heroin dating back to sometimes in the late 80s, early 90s, against allegations against President Bola Tinubu. And so the curiosity there is the fact that why is the letter coming to light now?
No,
why didn't the letter come on the 7th of July rather than coming 17 days later?
I should rather put it this way. The spinning is done by the Atiku camp. Why did I say that? Mr. Seun, you know I work for Atiku in the 2023 election. And you know that this issue was discussed in 2023. It was discussed in 2019, even when he was not a candidate. It has always been an issue that has been discussed. But the curiosity should have come, your question about curiosity should have come, why is it that Atiku is only raising the issue on the eve of election? Why was it not raised in 2022 to 2023? What was the outcome? Baseless, frivolous, and it is meant to deceive the innocent Nigerian people who are concerned about what is going on in Nigeria and whether the opposition have a better alternative. That's why I told you, I said, if there is sincerity, for example, in that conversation, what have they got to say about a congressional finding? This one, you say Congress will look into it. That is the only thing that you are carrying as breakthrough or breaking news. There is one that there was a finding in which a lawmaker in America was even indicted and prosecuted. I think that should be more important in terms of curiosity and sincerity to the Nigerian people. You are talking about something to be looked into and you are talking about a finding. But you see, we don't even as a government go about lazying, looking at Halliburton and all those things because Nigerian people and what they are impacted by is more important to us than the baseless rhetorics of a jobless voyage, carriers.
Although, I mean, I don't want us to dwell on the fringes of the...
But you're dwelling, just because now later you say time has gone out, and then the real issue of the letter will not be discussed.
It is important for us also to look at the credibility around the circumstance. It's the same thing that you said is baseless. And your words on this program in 2022, November, you said to me on this program, you said, President Bola Tinubu, the candidate at the time, may be disqualified from contesting. You went further to say there is still a cloud around drug-related offenses and drug-related activity. And of course, that's Daniel Bwala talking to me right here on this program. You also said Bola Tinubu had a questionable character. Those are the things you said right on this program. And now you think that all of those things that you said for Atiku, it don't matter any longer.
You know why I smiled? The joblessness of the opposition, it seems they have carried you in that bus. Why am I saying that? This issue you raised, when will you get tired of asking me the same question? In the world today, the first person that started asking me this question was you. And you have done that more than 5 times. Are you not tired? They are completely inconsequential to what is happening. Bwala, come and talk about the credibility of the letter. You people say President Trump lauded Tinubu. The question that should arise after, whether it is true or not, to what extent have you been lauded? But now we have taken almost 10 minutes. And I know the time you have here. Because I've understood the Nigerian media very, very well. I know they prepared again to follow their trend. Ask me the question that you want to find out about the letter. As for the opposition, allow them to keep lazying about. Nigerian people want to hear tonight what is happening to their lives.
Will you kindly answer the question that I asked you? You said at that time that those things that you talked about are now baseless. Are you saying everything you said at that time we should discontinent it?
Nigerian people tonight want to know what is happening with their economy, with their education, and most importantly with security. And we have made substantial progress. First time in Nigeria's history, where the leadership of the President Bola Tinubu, brought about a very strong collaboration.
You're not answering my questions, Mr.
It's
Bwala.
not a question.
The question, I've asked you, before we get into that matter, I've asked you, with this particular matter that I asked you, you said is baseless. That meant all the things you said to me in November and the rest of the time in 2022 are baseless and lies.
Yes, they are not lies, they are baseless. Not important for conversation. And by the way, let me ask you.
So Daniel Bwala of 2022.
Let me ask you. What? You see, this thing, what you are doing now, I'm trying my best not to be aggressive about it. But you are riding on the opposition's back horse. Peter Obi has since changed parties 4 times How many times have you asked their people? Atiku has changed parties 4 times. Every single question you ask me from when I came back to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the same that has happened to them, but their own is even in a multiplied form. How many? I'm coming. Let me land.
You're a lawyer.
Let me land. Let me
you
land.
know what
I must land. I must land.
Go
I
ahead
must
and
land.
land.
How many times have you asked them? I told the media houses in Nigeria, the hypocrisy of the media is in fever pitch. Because these people have changed parties. You have not asked them about character and credibility, and whether they possess the right mind to lead the Nigerian people, where they keep jumping from one party to other because of problem. You have asked me is there a media agenda against Daniel Bwala? Let us start from there.
You tell me.
There is.
Why?
And unfortunately,
Why
it
so?
appears, because the same question you can't ask the opposition. You can't. Not only you, Morning Show can't ask the opposition.
Maybe you don't watch this program.
No. I watch.
Or
I
you watch the part that you want to watch.
No, when they send link to me, I see. You just scratch
that's the
this.
problem.
When you scratch the surface.
You watch the part you want to watch.
No. You scratch the surface, scratch another surface, and consider that a job is done. 2 years, when you're asking me the same question. But there are times you have to be tired now.
If you have not answered the question, one will not get tired of asking.
When you asked me the previous time, did I answer or not?
No, what I mean, as a lawyer,
you see, clickbait,
you know
clickbait has become the fulcrum of modern age journalism. Why? I have seen guests coming to your table here where you talk with ferocity, with ferociousness about the happenings of the Nigerian people. What can you do? What is this government doing? As soon as I appear, those things don't matter.
Mr. Bwala, thank God that 14 years ago you were on this program, and it was not clickbait at the time.
But it's clickbait now. 14 years ago, you were not. 14 years ago, you were not the way you are now. You are not the way you are now.
They say he who comes to equity.
I didn't come. You brought me to equity.
But this is equity. And
yes, you brought me.
Let's see your hands, whether they are clean.
See my hands.
And
that's
why
they say, okay, see.
That's why.
Let me put it this way. The letter was written by the United States government applauding the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for deeper cooperation. Unfortunately, we are not discussing that in the media today. Is it fair to the Nigerian people? Is it fair for the Nigerian people in rural areas who want to know that this country has experienced progress to the point where our collaboration is yielding results? Is this thing the fact in issue?
Can we continue now?
We've been on. I'm giving you a pushback. I am not about to wait for that kind of narrative to keep going.
Let's go ahead with this interview, Mr. Bwala.
Have you heard about the Halliburton case?
Of course.
Have you talked to
here
them?
to explain?
Have you talked to them about here when they came here?
Case? You'll find out. Whenever
they've been coming before.
Whenever the opposition is here,
it is from today you will start. You have not asked them.
That's why I've asked you to go back to the previous episode of this program.
No, I know. I know. I've been seeing everything you're doing.
Can we go back to the interview?
No, I am here. I'm answering your question.
Let me ask you, Mr. Bwala. The president today released what he says is a personal letter from President Donald Trump to President Bola Tinubu's leadership against terror. Beyond the diplomatic language, can you tell us what tangible policy commitment does this letter represent for Nigeria? Is this simply a gesture of goodwill, or does it translate into measurable benefits?
It is the recognition of the result of a collaboration that has assumed a very deeper and commendable level. The second in the command in ISIS globally was eliminated in Nigeria because of the joint operation. We eliminated and stopped their attacks because of the joint operation. We have deepened the collaboration to a point where we share intelligence, we have local training, and then you have the strike. So even last week, the one of the high officials in the U.S. government was here. The letter typifies, exemplifies, and explains the progress we have made so far with the United States, and we have similar progress with the rest of the world.
But what bothers the mind, as much as the gallantry of our soldiers and the military operations and the rest of the sister agencies, DSS, police, and the rest of them are doing their hard work on the front line, is a residue of what we're seeing with the terrorists and what they're doing. The presidency argues that Nigeria's counter-terrorism strategy is producing results, yet terrorists attack kidnappings are happening, mass killings continue in parts of Borno, Yobe, Zamfara, Katsina, Benue, Plateau, and Niger State. By what objective metrics should Nigerians conclude that security is generally improving?
Nigerians are extremely happy with the progress we're making. I'm from Borno State, and I know the progress we've made in Borno.
Did you do a survey to know that?
I'm from Borno. I know the progress we're making. I talk to people.
You said Nigerian people are happy.
Yes, we read that. Also, the same medium. I'm coming. The same medium from which you mirror your question is the same medium. We also read about their reports. We also interview people. I've been going around the country doing podcasts, in case you don't know, to take the feelings of the Nigerian people. I'm sure you did not even congratulate us for the abducted people that were restored recently. Did you congratulate me for the letter? Did you congratulate us that the collaboration is becoming deeper? At least if Nigerian people hear from you, they will know that this is real. It's not a question of whether it is true or not. So why don't we talk about the progress that has been made?
The question that I've just asked you now is, what objective metrics should Nigerians conclude that this security is generally improving?
And I said the metrics is the progress we're making, which is resulting in the report you are hearing, including the present report that the President of the United States lauded Nigerian government for this deeper collaboration and the progress it's making. And if your question is that if there is a collaboration, there shouldn't be any security situation in Nigeria, then I would say respectfully that you are not being objective about it. America is the strongest secured country in the world. But 2 months ago, you know that there was attempt at the president twice. Insecurity is an ongoing thing. We have repaired, we have resolved, reduced the attack, we have gone on the offense. There are so many things to talk about so that that woman in the rural area, that man in the rural area will rather be encouraged that progress is made rather than doomsday conversation that nothing is happening.
But indeed, if security has improved, Mr. Bwala, why do many communities still remain displaced or inaccessible?
The progress has been made.
Why? Why is it happening?
That's because, okay, like as you are now, if I'm trying to look at the best description of, you go to church probably, and it is not the will of God that people should be poor. Why are there poor people in church?
Is that your your standard of comparison or
no, I'm asking you. You go
is that
to
your
church.
gauge?
You know,
no, I'm not the one to answer questions. You are the one.
No, journalists can answer. Lately, you can answer. If you ask a question that requires you want to respond, because we are not in any police department where they are doing interrogation. We are having a conversation.
All right. Cannot continue. You know, sometimes when I look at these politicians, I will just smile and I pity my fellow Nigerians who, you know, fall to their political games. You know, one thing they fail to know is that they are actually playing with the Nigerian lives, you know, with their political stand. Most at every time, everything they do is all about politics. Their talk is all about politics. Their laugh is all about politics. Their behavior is about politics. They don't actually care about the ordinary Nigerians. You know, you are asked so many questions. Instead of to answer it, you keep on fighting, saying that the media, everything is all about Daniel Bwala. If Daniel Bwala did not say what he said, no media will be asking you such questions. It was out of what you said as you know, media spokesperson to so many people you have worked for, that they are judging you by. You know, all these questions Seun asked was actually what you said. Thank God this time around you did not deny that you didn't say it, but rather you start being, you know, hostile, that every time is all about Daniel Bwala. Yes, Daniel Bwala is important because people believed in you. Whenever you say something, you prove it or you stand by it. So people would believe that, oh yes, this man has integrity, whatever he says is the truth. But now what you have said some years back has come back to you and you cannot defend it. You will now say it is baseless. They are not lied, but they are baseless. Is it because you are now working with the current government? That is why you call them baseless. But during those years, 2022, when the matter came up, that you are talking about it, you made Nigerians to believe. Does it mean that you deceived Nigerians? You actually knew that these things was not true, but you know, you carry on because you are serving your master Atiku Abubakar then. So these are the issues we are talking about integrity. It's not about changing parties. Anybody can change party. The Donald Trump of today was formerly a Democrat, and today he is now the president under the Republican. And we know the Democrats are also attacking him because he's no longer with him. So it is not about changing parties. We are not talking about changing parties. We are talking about what you told the Nigerians, some years back, and they believed you. Today, they want to know that those things you said, is it true or is it false? Telling us that is baseless because you are now working with them is making us to look like fools, as if we don't know what is true and what is false. So you need to have a stand. Yes, that what I said then is true, but now I'm working with Tinubu is a different thing. But telling us just to wave it that is baseless, no, 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 no. It's not fair to Nigerians. We should stop playing politics with the ordinary Nigerians who is walking about, who doesn't care about politics, who doesn't know anything about politics. All he wants is his daily bread, his security to be assured, his basic amenities is what the ordinary Nigerians are seeking for. And we are here telling us that everything is good. You have done this, you have done that. The president commending our president Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not reflect to the ordinary Nigerians. You said yes, you move around, you are doing podcasts. At your stage, at your level, people will always tell you what you want to hear. But if you want to actually know what is happening, go down to the street and have the real feelings of the people. You can't just be telling us everything is well, why the kidnapping has increased, why the insecurity is still everywhere, and people cannot sleep with their two eyes closed. There is no food. There is so many things bothering the ordinary Nigerians. And they are still telling us that everything is fine. Anyway, this is my own opinion. We are the ones that is in street. We know what is happening. We know what people are saying. We'll have one-on-one conversation. Probably you may be in your AC in the office, from your office to your AC in the car, from your AC in the car to another AC wherever you are doing the podcast. But we are all every day in the rain and the sun, in the streets, in the bars, sitting with the ordinary Nigerians. We should be the one telling you what is happening in Nigeria, not you that has the privilege of had worked with Atiku. Now you are working with President Tinubu, telling us that Nigerians are happy. No, 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 my brother. You need to face the reality and tell the Mr. President the reality of what is on ground. Nigerians are not happy. Nigerians are really suffering. Things are getting out of hand, and something need to be done. The president need to sit up and do the needful so that this country will be safe, so that the ordinary Nigerians will feel the impact of good governance. This is my own personal opinion. I am just being myself, saying the things I felt, and that's the only way I can say. We need to speak up in this country and see how we can better this country. And my followers, please make your own comments on the comment section, and please don't forget to follow this channel and help me grow this channel, and always turn on the notification bell, and as we go for next video. Thank you, and God bless you.